Okay, so let's start. As we said that we have the literacy one that talk about writing. Let's start with it. Marshall's, yeah, the first one, please.
Okay, so we will begin from the beginning of the sentence. Several
Okay.
years at the regular annual meeting of one of the major engineering societies, the president of the society, in the formal address with which he opened the meeting, gave expression to a thought startling that the few Haman were seated in the auditorium fairly gasped. Surprisingly, the president.
No, no, done. I think this is the last of this. Till gasp. There's a full stop after.
Okay,
Okay. So why you're gonna choose who?
because laymen are people, so who?
Excellent. Perfect. Layman here. Now what Marshall Ziad did, that he looked at the word itself and he found that it's a noun. And this noun, we know that it's for people. And the pronoun, the relative pronoun that we are going to use it with people is going to be who. What about the others? Because who's also is for people, but who's for ownership. And don't forget that after where come the verb, after who come the verb, after who come the verb, after who's come the noun, after who's come the noun. Okay, teacher, there is who is. Why you didn't choose it? Because there is no a verb called is where. No, nothing. In the verb tenses, we have two verb to be after each other, because is verb to be, where is verb to be. If they're gonna come after each other, one is helping verb, the other one is the main verb. So it's gonna come as be, not as is. So this is wrong. What about which? Which for things. So the right answer is who without anything, because we have where city as a verb. Thank you much, Aziad. Dr. Hamza, second one. Read it, please.
Which choice provides the most logical introduction to the sentence?
Okay, take care. He wants now an introduction to this sentence. Till war. May you read it, please?
Since engineers had brought the world into war, it was the duty of engineers to get the world out of war.
Okay, do you know why the engineers, here the meaning of the sentence? Because the engineers put people in war. Why? Because they are the ones that invent and create things related to war. So here he asked them to get out of war. Now we need a sentence that relate to it. Why you choose Hamza? Surprisingly, the president had said that. Dr. Hamza, I can't hear you. There is a problem in the mic. Dr. Hamza?
Mister?
Yeah, I can hear you right now. Why you're gonna choose surprisingly the president had said that? No sound, Dr. Hamza. Is there a problem in your mic?
Yes, تقريبا كده.
Stop. It change like you are just logging with a mobile or with a laptop.
موبايل.
Okay, طب ما هو الصوت اهو تمام. يلا. Why you're gonna choose surprisingly the president had said that? Okay, let me help you. Actually, I don't know, because now he said a sentence that doesn't have a keyword just to find it here. We have only surprisingly here. We have what was said in fact was, the president had said that, what the president said in fact was that. So I'm going to think about elimination for the first time. I'm going to think about elimination. So when I look at A, I said, yes, I have the subject, I have the verb, no problem. And maybe the president said that. Okay. If I look at B, he said, what was said in fact was. What was said in fact was. The problem here that I have a comma, and the comma is not underlined. So if I have a comma, we can separate was from what come after it, except if it's not essential. And number two here is a passive. And it's important to mention who said that. So B is wrong. If you look at C, you're going to find the subject. The president had said that. Okay. Here he said what the president said in effect was that. Also, both of them can work. But if you look at the sentence, he found that he said a surprising. Why? How the engineers put the word into war. This is surprisingly for all of us. And how the president is gonna said that about the engineer. So it's better because A, C, and D can work. And it's better because of the word surprisingly to use A. Clear, Dr. Hamza?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Pilot Kareem, number 3.
Which word best fits the meaning of the sentence?
Okay, may you read the sentence that had the word? Because
Okay.
now I need a vocabulary. Okay, read from as a thought.
As a thought, it probably reflected the secret opinion of every engineer present for, however, unaffected of intended wrongdoing, engineers assuredly are as a group in their work of scientific investigation and development.
Okay, that's done. Now, if you're gonna use the word unaffected, because it's not a meaning now, it's a meaning regarding the sentence, not the meaning of the underlying word, because the underlying word, maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Take care. He said here that the engineers think about themselves, that they are intended wrongdoing. So why you're gonna choose innocent? You want me to help you?
Okay.
Okay. What do you think now? Because we have Engineer Taha and we have Engineer Zaina. What do you think that they're going to study for 5 years and they're going to complete master and going to complete PhD, and they're going to say at the end that we are intended wrongdoing engineers because of the sentence of the war? I think they're not going to say that. So we can say unaffected. Unaffected. It's wrong. And another thing, affect here, it acts as a verb, not as an adjective. So it's better to delete it. Now we have the word unknown. How they are intended wrongdoing means they know what they are doing, and we're going to say unknown. So now we are between guilty or innocent, and they are opposite to each other. You're going to find that if they are guilty, like I intend to kill somebody, so how I'm going to be guilty? And now they are talking about the war that the engineers involved in, and they are not involved, they are actually invented. So it's better to say innocent because they don't intend to do that. Clear?
Okay.
Thank you. Number 4, Engineer Taha. Take care of the sentence. We're going to complete it. This is the sentence that was read by Pilot Kareem. Okay, let's read that part then.
Then raging in Europe was absolute truth.
Okay. Now, as you can find, the sentence ends with a comma. As you can find. Okay, end with a comma. Then now we need to be sure that the sentence that we have is right or wrong. The problem that we have here a verb. Can you see the verb here?
Yes.
Was. This verb is for what? Is for raging in Europe. It can be. But the main thing that the sentence before then, it must have a subject and verb again. Is that right?
Yes.
Because here we have a comma. We have a comma and we don't know. Because here we have and, he said and, development. Okay, this relate. Then we have a comma. And if you look from the beginning of the sentence that was read by Pilot Kareem, you're going to find that we need, because here he said add a thought. Okay, this is a prepositional phrase. It probably this independent. This what? Independent. So now we need dependent. Okay? We need dependent. Let's find now. The first one, we don't have any problem because he said the statement subject that, now the dependent. Engineers were responsible for the conflict. Now I need a verb for statement. So was can work. Was can work. The statement was absolute truth. If you look at B, you're going to find it seems. Okay, mister, there is a new sentence. Where is the verb for statement here? You can't find it here because he said it seems, then he start a new dependent sentence, so there is a problem. So this we cancel. Here he said the statement again disregards. Where is the subject? If we're gonna say that the statement here is gonna be repeated, where is the subject for the first statement? Clear?
Yes.
The same thing here. He said only engineers. Again, I need this verb for a statement. We don't have it here. So the right answer is A. Clear, Engineer Taha?
Okay, yes.
Okay. Engineer Zaina, number 5.
The profession of engineering, which, by the way, is merely the adapting of discoveries in science and art to the uses of mankind, is a particularly isolated one.
Okay. Let me just remind you of the question that was solved by Pilot Kareem and Engineer Taha. Do you know that these two questions come in the same sentence? And we said that at least one is going to be no change. But this is not going to be a truth. You have to try it, okay? Let's go now for the question of Engineer Zain. I don't know that this actually a question that is grammar or writing. Because of that, I have to look at the other choices. And I found that they include the same words. So like that, it's a grammar question. May you tell us why you choose B?
Because first of all, I first read the three choices. So the first one we have 2 dashes above.
No, the first one has commas.
I mean B.
Ah, you mean B. Okay, yes. It has 2 dashes to separate. That is not essential. That right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then in C, there's commas everywhere, like engineering, comma, then which, comma, by the way, and
And
then
you remember, when I said that, I told you if we have many commas, we have to change some of them to be semicolon. Do you remember that?
yes.
Okay, this one.
And then here it's a comma, then a dash. So
Okay, the comma, then a dash, no problem. But now, the problem in between the 2 dashes. Actually, what must be between 2 dashes from which? Because engineering is, it must be like that. Engineering is, what come between them, all of this is not essential. Clear?
yes.
Okay, thank you. So now, why he didn't put here commas, as I told you, because we have other commas here. So it's better to change it to be dashes or semicolon. So now we change them to be semicolon. So now he is the right track. In A, as you can find here, we have comma, comma, comma. Oh my God. Then a dash. So that means what come after is not important. So here there's a problem. And the problem that we need the verb for profession. The verb for profession. So A is wrong. B, the same thing. Many commas. It's wrong. Here we have the dash in the wrong part. Because the dash must start from which, not from by. Thank you, Engineer Zaina. Marcia Ziad again, number 6. This is transition.
To our dismay, very little is known about it among those outside of the profession.
Okay.
Like if we will eliminate from the choices.
Without
So,
elimination, we have to start first with knowing the function of each word. Like
yes,
much. Yes,
like
go
I
on.
meant we'll see the every choice and then we will eliminate.
Okay. So much is going to be for
Addition,
addition, but
contradiction, and since
since
for cause and effect, and for
addition. Do you remember when I told you last time, you weren't attended this time, I told them that in act and sat, we use the elimination. But in EST, if you find 2 like each other, yes, eliminate them and put them aside. But you have to look at the sentence to know that you need addition or not, just to eliminate them for and use from the contradiction and cause and effect. So here in this case, we have to read the sentence before and sentence after, the right? To know
yes.
that it's addition, contradiction, or reason, cause, and effect. So may you read the last sentence here?
The profession of engineering, which by the way is merely adapting of discoveries in science and art of the uses of mankind, is a peculiarly isolated one.
Okay, here he said,
To
forget
our
about the word. Huh?
To our dismay, very little is known about it among those outside of the profession.
Okay, as you can find here, he said isolated. And here he said dismay, sadness, and very little to know about them. So that means isolated. So now we need addition, that right?
Yes.
Why you choose much, not and?
It's
you want me to help you?
yes. Yes.
Okay. If you look here, and to our dismay, actually, this is a sentence. So if we're going to say, and to our dismay, very little is known, you're going to find that it's informal. There is a kind of mistake grammatically. But much to our dismay here, we can consider it as a prepositional phrase, and very little is the subject. Clear?
Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Hamza, number 7.
Yes.
We're going to read from the beginning of the sentence. And don't forget that here we have mans, we have men's, we have man, we have men. So 2 of them, they have apostrophe S or S apostrophe. And 1 of them is wrong, completely wrong. Because man, the plural for it is men. And we need to make it possessive. It's going to look like this, Dr. Hamza. Men with apostrophe S, not this. So this completely wrong. So we delete it from the beginning. Now we need to be sure that we need apostrophe or not. May you read, please?
And did
Indeed.
a source of common
amusement
among engineers is a peculiar
fact
that the average layman cannot differentiate between the men who runs.
Who? Take care. Now I have who, and who is a relative pronoun. So what comes before who, it must be a noun, not a possessive noun. Why? Because possessive noun acts as an adjective. اوعى ننسى الحته دي. الpossessive noun act as an adjective. So now we need a noun, not a possessive noun. So now we're going to delete men's. Now we need to be sure that it's men plural or man singular. If you look here, he said what? Who what?
Runs.
Runs is singular. احنا عارفين ان the present tense of the verb in the singular, it take S. So runs is in the singular. So we must say man, not men. Clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Pilot Kareem, question number 8.
What should be done with the underlined phrase?
Okay. Here, in this kind of question, engineer Pilot Kareem, we have to look first at you're going to keep or delete. Then you find the reason. So how I'm going to find, teacher? You have to read. Read the sentence.
Yet there is a difference between them, a difference as between day and night. For one merely operates the
No, done. Did the sentence from full stop to full stop. So here he said, yet there is a difference between them, a difference as between day and night. Do you believe that we need to write the underlined sentence because it's non-essential? But do you believe that we need to write it? Here he said, yet there is a difference between them. Then he said, a difference as between day and night.
Yes, it's explaining it.
Yeah, it give you emphasize. So we're going to keep it. So now we're going to look which one. Keep it because it emphasized the previous information. Yes, it relates to the previous information. Or keep it because it provides a break from the form structure of the passage. No, it's not. He repeat or emphasize. So it's better to say A. Clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Engineer Taha, number 9. Engineer Taha, which choice from the beginning you're gonna delete it from the beginning?
Thems.
Thems. There is nothing called thems. In SET and the act, you're not gonna find look like this. No, he's gonna give you the right one, and he needs from you to find the answer. But in EST, sometimes they give you wrong answer. Actually, answer that they are not English. Okay, you read from the beginning of the sentence to know which one you're gonna choose.
Okay. For one cannot but ponder the fact that If engineers started the greatest war the world has ever known, and engineers as a body freely admit that if they did not start it, they at least made it possible, they also stopped them, thereby proving themselves
Proof.
possessed as of a power is greater than that of any other class of professional men.
Done. We're gonna stop here. Take care that now we have two things in the same. We have two questions in the same sentence, but maybe one of them, as I told you, have we said at least one of them is gonna be no change, but sometimes it's not gonna work. So because of that, you have to be sure. Okay. Now we need to know they also stopped what. So you have to look before.
War.
Stopped what? The war. Stop the war, and the war is singular. So it's not here, it's not them. It's gonna be what?
It.
Thank you. Engineer Zena, as we said, that now we have two questions in the same sentence, so maybe one of them is gonna be at least no change. So we're gonna look at the first one. Read complete now.
Diplomats and lawyers and divinities not accepted.
Expected.
Expected.
Now, yeah. Accepted, I'm sorry, accepted. Okay, now we are talking about a series. We're talking about the list. Why? Look here. We have diplomats, lawyer, defense, and they are plural, all of them. Do you feel that A can work? ما خلصنا كده احنا اختار no change لان احنا عندنا two things come after each other. Do you feel that it will be A?
No.
Why? The repetition of and, so it's wrong. Do you think it's B? Because we're going to work with elimination.
No, because there is no comma before and.
Perfect. Why C is right?
Because diplomats, comma, lawyers, comma, and divinities.
Perfect. Why D is wrong? Despite that there are commas here. Do you remember when I told you when we have a list, we must have parallelism? What come before, come after. So if it's singular, all of them is going to be singular. If it's plural, all of them is going to be plural. Here what?
It's singular, singular, plural.
So it's wrong. Thank you. Just wait, please. Okay. Marshall Ziad.
Okay, so to make the last two paragraphs logical, sentence 4 should be placed. That's a cohesion question.
Perfect.
So we will read the sentence 4 and then we will read every sentence and find the common keywords.
Perfect. So may you read sentence 4, please?
Okay, that engineering is a fourth field with stupendous possibilities. Therefore, nobody can very well deny.
Okay, we have keywords here: engineering, force, possibility, stupendous. Okay, let's find now the sentence. Where it's now. Do you feel that there is a relationship, because this is the last sentence, between it and what come before? Let's read it.
With some 15 years spent on the creative end of the work, the drafting and designing end, I have yet to see, with but 2 or 3 rare exceptions, the genius of engineers turned into any but noble channels. No, there is no.
Yeah, because here it talk about the engineers, not the engineering as a force. Okay, before sentence 1.
Okay, so sentence 1, for one cannot but ponder the fact that if engineers started the greatest war the world has ever known, and engineers as a body freely admit that if they didn't start, if
Okay,
they
not to read it. Actually, here also it talk about engineers, not engineering. Look about before sentence 2.
Before sentence 2, okay. That is a force generally exercised for good despite the World War. I myself, as an engineer, can truly testify. Yes, there is a common word, is a force.
Perfect. And
So
here
it's
he's talking
either
about the
before or after.
profession as engineer. Yes, go on. I'm sorry.
So it's either before or after.
So either it's before sentence 2 or after sentence 2. I'm with you. But if you look here, he talk about diplomats, lawyer, definites not expected. And he talk about the engineers as a profession. So maybe, okay, let's look after. So between this and sentence 3, we read
We
sentence
read
3
sentence.
before.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
So also it
I
doesn't
feel
talk. So it, yes, go on.
like if you will decide before or after, so I feel the sentence is like an introduction for the next sentence.
Perfect. It's introduction and connected to the previous sentence. Perfect. Thank you, Marshall. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to go to a new passage. Dr. Hamza.
Yes. Which word would most likely capture Bitsy Billy character based on the contest?
Okay. Here, actually, it's not a writing or grammar question. It's a reading question. Relate characterization, if you remember this in the academic part. So now we need an adjective that means or describe Bestie Billy's character. How we know? You have to read the whole sentence.
Douglas
Earliest
recollection recollections centered around the cabin of his grandmother.
Cabin of his grandmother.
Bitsy Billy.
So now we need something to describe Bitsy Billy, huh?
Who seems to have been something of a privileged
Character. Okay, forget about this character.
on the plantation, being permitted to live with her husband Isaac in a cabin of their own, charged with only the relatively
light duty.
light duty of looking after a number of young children, mostly the offspring of her own 5 daughters, and providing for her support.
Okay, so now look at the words, because we need a word that means or describe her character. Take care. She is a grandmother right now, and she took care of a number of young children, and they are the offspring of her 5 daughters. She took care of them. So what do you think? Is it privileged, revered, inadequate, fanciful? And why?
Mr. Again,
What?
can you repeat?
And they told you which word you're going to choose now to describe the character of Bitsy Billy. Privileged, revered, inadequate, fanciful. I think inadequate means not suitable. So I think if a grandmother take care of her of her grandsons and granddaughters, it's not going to be something inadequate, because we know that our grandmother loves us. So this is wrong. Okay, now we are between privileged, revered, fanciful. Do you know what the meaning of revered?
No.
What?
No.
No? Okay.
Yes.
Revered means holy, muqaddas, or sacred. I think this is not something sacred or holy. So also I'm going to delete it. Fanciful means relate to imagination. Do you feel that when a grandmother took care of her grandsons and granddaughters, it's something fanciful?
No.
Okay. Privilege means something like come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something as a merit. And we think that this is a merit for a grandmother to have daughters and those daughters to have offspring. Clear? So the answer is A. Okay, thank you. Pilot Kareem.
To make the previous paragraph most logical, sentence 2 should be placed.
Take care. Sentence 2 now, as Marshall Ziad mentioned before, is going to be introduction. So
Yes.
it must be related to what come before and what come after. Okay?
Okay.
So we're going to do what? We're going to read sentence 2 and find the keywords. And then we're going to read all the choices and find what come before and come after relate to the keywords here or not. Read sentence 2.
The real importance of his life to us of another generation lies in what be accomplished toward the world's progress, which he only began to influence several years after his escape from slavery.
Okay, so now we have keywords: life,
And
slavery, and don't forget that he referred to someone. He referred to someone, we don't know whom. So because of that, we need indication to refer to he, to give us expression. Who is that one? If we're gonna say that, where is it now? Me complete the sentence. I think we read it. Okay.
Okay.
So do you feel that it's gonna come here after?
No.
Why? Because here is telling us a story. Yes, there is the word Isaac, and there is Bitsy Billy, but Bitsy Billy is a woman, and we
Yeah.
have the word Douglas. So now we're gonna mix between who is he? Is it Douglas or Isaac? Maybe clear it's Isaac, but also doesn't have anything that relate to slavery or the life. Okay, so
Yes.
let's look after sentence 3. May I read sentence 3?
It is impossible in a work of the scope of this to go into very elaborate detail with reference to this period of Douglas's life. However, it might be. However interesting it might be.
Okay, here he mentioned Douglas' life, as you can find. And now we know that he's talking about Douglas. So maybe it will come here. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So again, we have to read the sentence after to know also, because it must be related to what before and what after. Read what after, please.
Enough ought to be stated, however, to trace his development from slave to free man and his
Again, he
preparation
took here about slavery
Yes.
at the end. And here he starts with slave. Okay, go on.
in his preparation for the platform where he secured his hearing and was earning his fame.
So I think now it's right, because here before he mentioned life and after he mentioned slavery.
Leave it.
But we need to be sure about the other. Before sentence 1. This completely wrong. Why, Pilot Kareem? Because he mentioned he. So he here is going to be a vague pronoun if you're going to bring
Yes.
it in the beginning. Okay, after sentence 4. Do you feel that we can put it here?
No.
Why?
Because
Because life and slavery was mentioned in 2 sentences that come before. Clear?
yes.
Thank you. Engineer Taha, question 14. And they talk about verbs.
Okay.
Why you're going to choose earn?
Let's read first.
The same sentence was read by Pilot Kareem. If you look here, you'll find and you know the and is talk about parallelism. So what come before, come after.
Yes.
And we're talking about verbs. If you look at the first one, he said was earning. This past continuous. Here earned past. Here has earned present perfect. Here was earned. It's the past, but in the passive. But here he said he secured in the past simple. So it's better to choose what?
Earned.
Okay. Thank you. 15, Engineer Zaina. Read it, please.
Which option, if inserted here, best supports the previous statement in Captain Aaron's Anthony?
Take care. Now I need a sentence to be stated here, but support the highlighted one. So we have to read the highlight one and find the keywords.
Douglas was born the slave of one Captain Aaron Anthony, a man of some consequence in eastern Maryland, the manager or chief clerk of one Colonel Lloyd, the head for that generation of an old, exceedingly wealthy and highly honored family in Maryland, the possessor of a stately mansion and one of the largest and most fertile plantations in the state.
Okay, so now he's talking about Aaron Anthony, as he mentioned. But we need something to be put here to state this. Take care. This is a writing question. So may you read each one and said why you're not going to choose this?
As a result, Douglas grew as a prosperous slave under Captain Aaron's Anthony jurisdiction.
Take care, jurisdiction. Here, we are talking mainly about Douglas, not about Aaron Anthony. So this is wrong, the right?
Yes.
Okay, go to B.
Notwithstanding his monetary success, Captain Aaron Anthony treated his slaves brutally and is suspected of being Douglas's father.
Wait, here he said that Douglas was born the slave of one captain. This is number one. And here he talk about that this man actually owned family and he helped people. So how you're going to say that he treated the slave brutally, badly? So this is wrong, the right?
Yes.
Okay, look here.
Many people would come to Captain Aaron Anthony to either buy slaves or land.
He didn't talk about that he was a man, that he has many slaves. He said only that Douglas was one of his slaves or was born as a slave. He didn't say that he's a man that has many slaves. He said only that he's wealthy, highly honored family, possessor of stately mansion, and one of the large and most fertile plantations in the state. But I didn't talk about slaves. So let's look at D.
The many titles only added to Captain Aaron Anthony's social standing in the community in addition to his wealth.
Yes, look here. He's wealthy, exceedingly wealthy. He said that he's a manager, he's a chief clerk, he's owner, he's possessor. So I think this sentence is better complete for this one. All right?
Yes.
Okay. Marches yet again, number 17.
Okay,
16, I'm sorry, 16.
Okay. Which choice provides the best combination of the underlying sentence?
Okay. Before you start, let me give you something. As you can find here, he put for you two sentences, and they are right, but he needs to combine them together. He needs to combine them together to make them easily read. Okay?
Okay.
So, may you read, please? And take care in EST. If you have a long sentence with comma, no, he doesn't like. He like with full stop. I repeat it. He liked the one with full stop. May you say, read it, please?
Up to this time, he had never, to his recollection, seen his mother. All his impressions of her were derived from a few brief visits to him at Colonel Lloyd's plantation, most of them at night.
Okay, now he end with mother, and he's gonna end with it. The problem with what come after. Okay, why you're
Yes.
not gonna choose A, Marsh's yet?
Which is no change.
Yeah, why?
Yeah,
Why
because
you're not
I see a repetition because he said her and here is about mother and he talked about the mother.
Perfect. So there's a repetition. Because of that, we're gonna cancel this. Why B you choose it?
No, B is a transition word, so it can work here.
Okay, we're gonna say that maybe work. What about C?
It also may be.
No, however, it's a contradiction. Can you find that the second sentence contradicts the first sentence?
No, it supports.
Yeah, so we can't choose however at all. Okay, and the and for the grammar is gonna be something vague. The right?
Yes,
So it's better to choose
that's
B.
it.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Hamza, 17.
Yes.
We're gonna read the whole sentence, Dr. Hamza.
This fleeting visits of the mother were important events in the life of the children. Now no longer under the care of his grandmother, but turned over to the tender mercies of his master's cook, with whom he does not seem to have been a favorite.
Okay, now we need to analyze the sentence because it's a long one. As you can find here, these fleeting visits is a subject. Where is the verb? Okay, and this is independent. Let's complete. Then he put here a comma. Then he put here a comma. And he said, now no longer under the care of his grandmother. Take care. Now, no longer under the care of his grandmother. Then he put comma, but turned over to the tender mercies of his cock, with whom this actually it's to be a kind of dependent. This one is dependent. The problem here that we have two sentences that they are independent. So we must have comma conjunction or semicolon or full stop. So like that, B is wrong. C is wrong because we need comma conjunction or full stop or semicolon. So what about semicolon is wrong also. Why? Because we can't use semicolon with a conjunction except that we have many commas in the sentence. So this is also wrong. So the only one is going to be right is what? A.
A.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Number 18. Take care. It's A because this is eliminated, but also A has a problem. Just to tell you. A also has a mistake. But when I use elimination, because this will happen in the EST, we're going to find something like that. When I said that I have independent and I have dependent. So we have now two independent that come after each other. And we know that if we have independent, we must put comma conjunction or semicolon or full stop. So this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. So the only one that is going to be is A. Despite that it has mistakes also. Okay. Let's go to 18. And Pilot Kareem.
What should be done with the underlined sentence?
Okay, now we need to know what we're going to have to do with the underlined sentence. And this is the second question that you take. You take one in the previous one and this one. So we have to think first, are you going to keep it or you are going to delete it? So you have to read sentence before and sentence after. May you read please again?
Okay, these fleeting visits of the mother were important events in the life of the child, now no longer under the care of his grandmother, but turned over to the tender mercies of his master's cooks, with whom he does not seem to have been a favorite.
Okay, then here it said what? Huh?
His mother died when he was 8 or 9 years old.
Okay, the sentence after.
Her son did not see her during her illness.
Take care that here he talk about mother. Here he said that the mother died, and here he talk about her illness. Do you think that you can delete it?
No.
So we're gonna keep it because it's related to the information that come before and the information that come after. If you're gonna come here, fine, keep it because it support the main idea of the paragraph. Yes, that he lived with his grandmother and he never saw his mother. Keep it because it provide relevant clarification. No. Okay, no, it's a kind of clarification,
it's
but
close,
it's better
but not...
that relate to the main idea.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Engineer Taha, number 19.
What should be done with the underlined phrase?
Again, another one come after each other, and this actually something from the mistake that happened with the EST. How these two questions come after each other. Because one of them, if they come like that after each other, one of them must be kept. Because they're going to be depend on each other. Let's read and find. Her son?
Yes, her son did not see her during her illness or learn of it until after her death.
Okay. I think he's still talking about the diet of the mother. And here he said, or learn of it until her death. So you're going to delete it or keep it?
Keep.
Okay. So, keep it. This one, I think. Yes. Keep it. Because it emphasized the previous information about the mother died. Or keep it because it provides a break from the formal structure of the passage.
No, because it still talks about the mother dying.
Okay. Thank you. Number 20. And Engineer Zaina.
It was always a matter of extreme sadness to him that he did not know her better, and that he could not was one of the sins of slavery that he never forgave.
Okay. Take care that you need to find now a vocab word that mentioned that. He said it was always a matter of the death of his mother. Of what? To him. Why? This is what will give you the meaning. That he didn't know her better. And that he couldn't, was one of the sins of slavery that he never forgave. Okay, why you're not going to choose extreme sadness?
Because I think instead of like using two words, we can use one word that
Perfect.
expresses
Shorter is better. And even Engineer Zero, when she came to read the words, she's find that all of them equal the same meaning. Extreme sadness, like excessive lamentation, like grief, like unjustified sorrow. All of them have the same meaning. So it's better now to choose the shortest. Thank you. 21. And Marcia Ziad.
Okay, so on Colonel Lloyd's plantation, Douglas spent 4 years of the slave life, of which his graphic description on the platform stirred human hearts to righteous judgment as an unrighteous institution.
Okay.
Uh,
So,
the,
yes, go
there
on.
must not be something to separate between the two words.
Okay. The first one has a comma between them because you can't find it. He said humane hearts, and humane is an adjective. Then here hearts is noun. Can we separate them from each other?
Yes, I'm telling you that we can't separate between
We
the both.
can. So we're gonna
Yes.
cancel A,
And we
and we're
cancel
cancel
C and D.
C, and we cancel D. Yes, it's easy now that we're gonna say that this is an adjective, then a noun. And even you're gonna find that we have two something. Like I move from left to right. I can say I move from school to left. The two words must parallel with each other. So here we have adjective and noun, and also here we have adjective and noun. Thank you much, Zia. 22, Hamza, Dr. Hamza.
Yes. What shows privilege the best translation?
Also here we're talking about transitions. Here also we're talking about the transition. So as we made before with Marshall Ziad, that we're going to look at the words and find the function for each one. Okay? As a result is what? Cause and effect or reason. However, contradiction. Keeping that in mind, it can be addition or agreement. Omit the transition phrase means that you're going to delete it, and this we're going to keep it till the end. If we're not going to find that it's a kind of result, or if it's a kind of contradiction, or it's not a kind of addition. So may you read before. Actually, this was read by Marshall Ziad. Read after.
It is enough to say that this lad
This lad,
with clean eyes and such
pitbull,
brutal feelings was an eyewitness of all evils.
the evils to which slavery gave birth. Okay. Here he said it is enough. It is enough. يعني كافي خلاص. To talk about that. So it's not a result or cause and effect. It's not contradiction and there's no addition. So it's better to delete that part. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. The third passage, and with Pilot Kareem.
Which choice most effectively combines the sentences at the underlined portion?
Take care. We answered this with Marshall Ziad before also. We said that when we combine, we have to make them shorter, or to put full stop is better for the EST. For the act and the sat, no, it's something different. Okay? So let's look now at this question in 23. Read it to find out.
In the foregoing exposition, we have now learned something of the dream work. We must regard it as a quite special
Cycle process, okay.
Cycle process, which so far as we are aware resembles nothing else.
Thank you.
To the dream work. Okay.
No, done. Full stop is here. Now the two sentences are independent and they are connected with semicolons. So there is no problem. Take care. There is no problem. It's right to have a semicolon between them. Look here now. And instead of the semicolon, he put comma conjunction. Also right. But after, take care that after it must be a complete sentence. Means that we need subject and verb. But before the subject and verb, he's right to add. So is that right?
No.
No. thing. He just put in as much as. Also wrong, because if we have independent and independent, we must separate them by comma conjunction or semicolon or full stop. Look at this one. He put comma, then although. Again, although is not a although it's a transition word, but it's not from the adverbial conjunction. So it's wrong. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. 24 and Engineer Taha.
Okay.
Read, please.
To the dream work has been transferred that
Bewilderment.
bewilderment, which its product, the dream has aroused in us.
Okay, there is one thing that you're going to delete it from the beginning because it's completely wrong. Which one?
It's was the
A. Because we don't have its apostrophe. This completely wrong. Now we are between it is, the subject and verb, it's for singular possessive pronoun, their plural possessive pronoun. Okay, so let's now find which. Do you need subject and verb?
no.
Because the subject here is product and the verb has aroused. So we don't need subject and verb. So now we are between it's singular or plural. So we must find, we are talking about what? We are talking about what? Bewilderment. And bewilderment is singular. So we're going to choose what?
It's
Thank you. 25, Engineer Zaina. You answered this also before. The
Yeah.
list.
It's
Mhm.
yes. So
May you
it's,
read from the beginning, please? From in
in
truth.
truth, the dream work is only the first recognition of a group of physical processes to which must be referred the origin
This is
of
not physical. This is psychical.
cycle processes to which must be referred the origin of hysterical symptoms, the ideas of morbid dread,
Okay. Now we need to find. Read the others.
obsessive, and illusion.
Now we find that there is and. So we're talking about a list.
Yes,
We're
but
talking about a list. But if
ad-
you look at the list, yes, go on.
dread is a noun, and obsessive is an adjective, and illusion is a noun.
Obsessive is an adjective. So now we don't have a kind of parallelism. Perfect. So we're going to delete A. What about B?
Dreadness, obsessive, and illusion.
Obsessive
No.
also is an adjective.
Yes,
And this noun and this noun. So this is wrong. What about C?
dread, obsession, and illusion.
So there is no comma here. Is that right?
Oh, yes, but they fixed
Yeah,
obsession.
Yeah, it's right. It's right as a kind of, they are all nouns. But here, there is no comma. Look now here.
Dread, obsession, and illusion.
So now it's right because X, comma, Y, comma, and Z. Thank you. Marshal Ziad, 26.
Okay, so the writer wants to express a feature specific to the dream work, which choice best accomplishes this goal.
Okay,
So
when it come a question like that, what you're gonna do?
we will read the sentence before and the sentence after.
But also there is a keywords in the question. Like you said, I need a feature specific to dream work. Okay, let's read before and after and take care of feature specific to dream work. Okay, please read Marshal Ziad.
Condensation and especially displacement are never failing features in these other processes. The regard for appearance remains, on the other hand, peculiar to the dream work. If this explanation brings the dream into line with the formation of physical disease, it becomes more
disease
to fit through the essential conditions of processes like dream building.
Okay, so now we know that there is the word dream here, and we're talking about dream. And also here, he talked about the appearance and peculiar and these things and talk about the processes. So maybe you're not going to change it. Is that right?
Yes.
But we have to look at the other to find if there is something wrong. May you read this?
Appearance, on the other hand, is often found in the dream work. It's passive.
Okay. Yeah, this passive, so I put, it can work because also talk about the appearance and the same words. But it's better to keep it till the end because A is better. A doesn't have any problem. A, it had the subject and the verb and they had the the rest of the sentence. So put this aside. C.
When looking closely at the dream work, appearance plays the role of one shared feature.
Do you remember when I told you, because this
The
is a
negative
modifier? Yes, we said that the modifier must modify what come after the comma. How looking modify appearance? So this is wrong.
Yes. Though
Okay,
appearance
look at
appears
D.
elsewhere, though appearance appears elsewhere, it remains an important feature in the dream work.
Why you eliminate it?
Because it is a vague pronoun.
Yeah, it is a vague pronoun. It for what? We have something that express about it. And if you look at the sentence before it, you're gonna find many things, many like condensation, displacement. So these two, it is replaced for what? Perfect. Thank you much, Azia. So now we're gonna return back to A and we're gonna keep B because B is past. 27, Dr. Hamza. Read it, please.
A whole number of
Phenomena
of the everyday life of healthy
Okay, complete here.
are due to a physical
Mechanisms
mechanism
analogies to that.
that of the dream and the other members of this group.
Okay. If you look at the whole choices, you're going to find that they are the same. The problem in punctuation. So there's a grammar question. So let's find each of them. Here he said a whole number. Number is a subject. Okay, where's the verb of the phenomenon of the sliver of the everyday life of healthy persons? Till now, we can't find the verb. Forgetfulness, slips. Slips is the verb. Okay, now let's find what comes before the verb. Here we have a dash. Then here we have a comma. So there is a problem. There is a problem. Why? Because we have a subject and we have a verb. Okay, teacher, what the problem? We can say now that from the dash, we need another dash to the right. The problem that there is no other dash, as you can find. No other dash. It's only a comma. So where is the other dash? So this is a problem. Why? We can put a dash and up. Unessential. If we're gonna say this, number is subject, where is the verb? If we're gonna stop it here, so this is wrong. Let's look at B. We have persons, then we have a dash, we have another dash, so it can work. So now from here is gonna be all non-essential. So where is the verb, mister? The verb is gonna be like that. A whole number of phenomena of the everyday life of healthy persons are due to. So it worked. What about C? Why it's wrong? The same problem. We have a dash, but we don't have another dash. What about D? We have a dash, but we don't have another dash. So it's easy, it can be solved. B is the right one. Clear, Dr. Hamza?
Yes.
Pilot Kareem, 28.
The writer suggests that a complete investigation of the subject has shown specific results. Which choice best reveals that meaning?
Okay, take care. Does this kind of question also look like the question that was solved by Marshall Ziad? He need a complete investigation, a word that mean that there is a complete investigation of the subject has shown a specific result. Okay? So from the word now, we need a word that mean complete investigation. Okay? Like one that annoyed people. Let's read now.
A thorough investigation.
Or you can find the word. Which word means that it's a kind of detailed investigation? Let's make first. Let's make first the kind of elimination. Satisfactory. Can it give you the meaning of complete investigation?
No.
No. Like in the airport, no one is going to be satisfied because there is a kind of detailed investigation about everything. Can we say that it's excellent?
No.
Also. So now we have a thorough or underlined. I know that maybe you don't know what the meaning of underline, but underline means basic. Can be basic means a complete investigation?
No, also. So
the right answer is going to be a thorough investigation. Thank you, Pilot. Engineer Taha, 29. Verb. This is the second time for you also to bring a verb for you. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, when we have a question for the verb engineer Taha, we have to look at the tenses first. Like find, it's in the present plural. We'll find future. Founded, nothing in English called founded. Found, it's in the past. May you read now to decide?
I had to break off the relations of my dream thoughts and the analysis of my dream because I find some experiences which I do not wish strangers to know and which I could not relate without serious damage to important consideration.
Okay, as you can find here, that the first sentence past and the second sentence part of it present. Okay,
Okay.
so now you are gonna be between find or found. Find or found. Okay, take care that in the beginning sentence said I had to break off the relation to my dream. So these are kind of experiences. Is that right?
Yes.
So we're talking about the past, not the present. Clear?
Yes.
Number 30 and Engineer Sena.
I should hit upon dream thoughts which call for.
But take care, there is a part before.
I added it would be not used were I to select another instead of that particular dream. In every dream where the content is obscure or intricate.
Okay,
hit upon
just wait. Because here we have a sentence, a full sentence that has subject and verb. The problem that we have to look at the others. Are the same words?
No. Oh, it's the
What?
same.
The same words, but
places.
with another order or with different punctuation, the right?
Yes.
Okay, so now we know that it's a grammar question. Let's look at each one to find out. Here he said, I should hit upon dream thoughts which call for secrecy. I think we have subject verb, we have full stop, no problem. The right?
Yeah.
Look at B.
I should upon security hit upon dream thoughts.
We know that after should, because should is a model verb. It can't stand alone. So we need another or main verb. So this is wrong. The right?
Yes.
Look at C.
Should I hit upon dream thoughts which call for secrecy?
It's right grammatically, but the punctuation is wrong because this starts to be a question. Should I do that? Should I hit upon? D.
I should hit which call for secrecy upon the dream thoughts.
When we bring a relative subordinate clause, it must be related to what come before it. Do you feel that which call for secrecy describe hit or describe thoughts?
Describe thoughts.
And there is another thing. If it describe hit is singular. So we must hit is a verb, not a noun. Hit is a verb. So which describe a noun, not a verb. Clear?
Yes.
Thank you. 31, Marsha Ziad.
Okay, so however, I continue to analyze myself without regard to those others for whom indeed so personal an event as my dream cannot matter. I arrive finally at ideas which surprise me, which I haven't known to be mine. So, okay. So the first thing we go to the choices, we will find since and because are the same purpose or the same meaning.
So we're gonna put them aside right now. Okay.
Yes. So it's between till now if and while, but in while, if we will use while, we will have to change the tense of the sentence.
And even while and however had the same contradiction meaning. So why you're gonna use both of them? While contradiction, however contradiction. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So you have only what?
If.
But just to be sure that it's if, we have three conditional cases for if. If plus present simple give us will plus infinitive. If plus past simple will plus infinitive, or can be present. If plus past simple give us would plus infinitive. If plus past perfect give us would have plus past perfect. If you're gonna look here, I continue is if plus present. So we must here have in the second sentence will plus infinitive or present. Here what?
Present.
So it works. Clear?
Yes.
Thank you. 32. Dr. Hamza.
Yes.
Read, please.
The writer wants to emphasize two main points. Emphasize two main points using italics, which whose best accomplishes this goal.
This goal. Take care. Also, he gave us a clue here. He said that the writer wants to emphasize two main points. Now we need to have here in this sentence two main points. Take care of that. Using italics. So, mister, if we need to emphasize two main points, they must parallel. So if they have ing, both of them must have ing, or both of them must be verbs, or most of them must be nouns, or both of them must be adjectives. Let's look at the first one, Hamza. Here he said the italics appear and unpleasant. Appear verb, unpleasant adjective. So they are not equal. So we cancel this. Look at the second one. Only adverb, unpleasant adjective. So also they are not equal. Foreign adjective, unpleasant adjective. Yes, they are equal. Not adverb, unpleasant adjective. So they are not equal. So the right one is C. Clear, Dr. Hamza?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Kareem. Again, vocab.
Which choice best fits in the writer's main idea stated in the previous sentence?
So he needs something or a vocab that equal to what stated in the previous sentence. Me read the previous sentence all now.
Okay.
From if, however.
However, I continue the analysis for myself without regard to those others for whom indeed so personal an event as my dream cannot matter. I arrive finally at ideas which surprise me, but which I have not known to be mine, which not only appear foreign to me, but which are unpleasant, and which I would like to oppose vehemently, whilst the chain of ideas running through the analysis intrudes upon me inexorably. I can only take these circumstances into account by admitting that these thoughts
are actually part of my cycle life, possessing a certain cycle intensity or energy. If you're going to look here, he look about the idea that start arriving to him, and they are strange, foreign, and he didn't like them. Okay?
Yes.
So now he made what? He said that these ideas are strange and unpleasant. So what he did? He admit, reveal, observe, submit.
The closest one to admitting is submitting.
Admitting and?
No, I mean the closest word to admitting is submitting only.
Yeah, but take care. Here he doesn't want the meaning of admit. He said maybe admit is right or wrong, and you need to change it or keep it as it is.
I think it's already.
Yeah, it's like admit, but I'm talking about why you are not gonna choose the others. I'm gonna help you.
Okay.
When he came in the previous sentence, he said that my ideas surprise me and they are strange or foreign and unpleasant. So this is a kind of admit. Maybe someone is gonna say reveal that they thoughts, but he didn't say reveal to whom. And no one can observe his thoughts. Yeah, observing for something that it's gonna be must be something touchable. So observe for thoughts, it can't. Submit, can we submit thoughts?
No.
So the answer is gonna be admit these thoughts. Thank you.
Okay.
Engineer Taha, again verbs. You are today the man of verbs. As we said, you're gonna look at the verb tenses first. Became past, become present, and also in the past perfect. Was became wrong. Why? Because after was is in the passive, it must be like that. Become, became, become. So it must be become. Also this wrong. Because after had, it must come the past perfect, the past participle. That we said it's become like that. Become The second became. The third become. So this is completely wrong from the beginning. Now we need to decide that it's past or present. May you read, please?
Rocks exposed to the direct rays of the sun became strongly heated by the day and expand.
Okay. Maybe Dr. Engineer Taha is going to say what? Exposed is a verb. And heated is a verb. So they are in the past. They are in the past. The right? So became is right, but this is wrong. Because exposed is an adjective. Heated is an adjective. The verb is here and the verb is here. And expand. Because and is parallelism. It must pattern. If this is the verb, so heated and expanded. So here it must be in the present. Clear, Engineer Taha?
Yes.
Okay. Engineer Zaina.
Which choice would best be logically placed here to represent the assertion made in the paragraph?
Take care. Assertion means the main idea of the paragraph. So you have to know that the paragraph is about what? To choose the right, because there's writing. There's writing. But if you're going to look, you're going to find that also it has grammar mistakes. Okay, may you read the paragraph? And don't forget the title, the element of geology. Read the paragraph now.
Rocks exposed to the direct rays of the sun become strongly heated by day and expand. After sunset, they rapidly cool and contract. When the difference in temperature between day and night is considerable, the repeated strains of sudden expansion and contraction at last become greater than the rocks can bear, and they break.
Okay. Do you know the erosion and weathering? He's talking about erosion and weathering right now that we took in science. So now let's find, is this right?
For the same reason that a glass cracks when plunged into boiling water.
I think he give you the reason why you have strains and why you have this damage.
Yes.
Because of the weather, because of the boiling of water, because you bring from cold till hot or warm. So maybe YB is wrong.
Although sometimes they remain intact. We don't know what is they.
They, because we're talking about the glass. So why they here? Okay. And we're talking about the, okay, it can be rocks. But also here he said intact. No, it will not give me because we need the reason for this one. Okay, may you look at C and tell me why it's wrong?
And this can be viewed in other materials.
For writing, it's right. But the problem that it has passive. So we have to keep it till the end. Take D now.
Taking into consideration the fragility.
Fragility. So taking here is a modified. And it came at the end. So it must modify what come before. Here he said break. So taking, how break taking, so it's wrong. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Marshaziyat, 36.
Okay, where in this passage should the underlined sentence be placed? Okay, so the underlined sentence is in cooling and the evening the surface shell suddenly contracts on the unyielding interior and in time is forced off in scales.
Okay.
Okay,
We have to find the keywords.
Yes, cooling and evening and surface shell.
Okay. Let's read now what come before it and after it.
Okay.
I think we read this. We read this.
Yes.
But here talk about the reasons, cooling and warming. Do you feel that we're going to keep it here? Because here talk about cooling only.
It should change.
It should what?
Change.
Okay. So look after sentence 2. Read sentence 2 and find.
Okay, rocks are poor conductors of heat and hence their surfaces may become painful hot under the full blaze of the sun while the interior remains comparatively cool.
But here he talk about the sun and talk about in the morning. Here he talk about the evening. So it's not related. Look after sentence 3.
By day, the outer layer expands and tends to break loose, from the mass of the stone.
So if you look here he talk about the afternoon. Then here he
And it
said what will happen.
looks-
Then after
it
that
looks-
talk about the evening. So it can work, that right?
Yes.
Okay. After sentence 4.
Many rocks, such as granite, are made in grains of various minerals which differ in color and in their capacity to absorb heat, and which therefore contract and expand in different ratios.
It doesn't relate because here if you bring in cooling in the evening, it will not match what the information was mentioned here. Clear?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, just 1 minute, please. Dr. Hamza, 37.
Yes.
Dr. Hamza, as you can look here, you're going to find that we're talking about fanboys. Okay? Clear, Dr. Hamza?
Yes, yes.
From the beginning, there is one you're going to delete it. This one. Why? Because and yet are brothers and sisters. They can't come with each other. Look, and is here for the fanboys, yet is here. And they have contradiction with each other. How and for addition and yet for contradiction. How we put them together. So this cancel from the beginning. Now we have and hence. We have and so far. We have and henceforth. Take care. The and so far for reason. So give cause and effect. And hence also reason. And henceforth. And this informal, this one is informal, means from this point on. Let's read now, before and after, to find which one you're going to choose. Dr. Hamza.
Yes.
Read, please. Rocks.
Rocks are poor conductors of heat,
Conductors of heat.
and their surface may become painfully not under the full
hot under
the full blaze of the sun, while the interior remains comparatively cool.
Okay, so now we know he said that rocks are poor conductor. Because of that, the surface are gonna be hot, but inside are gonna be cool. So here, give us what? The effect, not the reason. Here, give us the effect, not the reason. So why? What happened? Because the rocks are poor conductor. So their surfaces are gonna be hot and the interior are gonna be cool. So it's not the reason, because the difference between C and A, the after so far give us the reason. After, hence give us the effect. Or let me give you with clear one. Here, give us the cause. After so far, give me the cause. After hence, give me the effect, what happened. So here, give what happened. Clear?
Yes.
Dr. Hamza?
Yes.
Okay. 38. Okay, Pilot Kareem.
Which word choice is most in line with the paragraph?
Okay, the same thing, vocab also. I think vocab did the first time, or
No, this is the
many times.
third time or the second time.
Okay. May you read, please?
Okay. From which line?
By
By
day.
day, the outer layer expands and tends to break loose from the mass of the stone.
Take care. Here we're talking about the outer something for the rock. For the
Okay.
rock. And if you remember that we used the word shell many times in the paragraph
Yes.
up. I do remember that we read shell many times. Because sometimes you're going to tell me, okay, we can use covering for the rock. But do we have a cover for a rock?
No.
Do we have a layer? Because he said the outer. It can be the outer layer. It can be the outer layer or the outer shell. But covering is wrong. Armor is wrong. But which one is
Shell.
better?
Shell.
Actually, I choose shell because it will start to be mentioned many times. But I do remember where we read it together. Do you remember that we read shell here?
One second, I'll find it.
Uh-huh.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it can work. It can work as a layer or shell. But because shell repeat it when I read before, so I do remember I said yes, it's shell.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Engineer Top 39.
Yeah.
May you read, please?
Many rocks, such as granite, are made in grains of various minerals which differ in color and in their capacity to absorb heat, and which therefore contract and expand in different ratios.
Okay. The problem here that we have something that relate to care, that relate to idioms. Made come after it in, yes, made in Germany, made in Egypt, but not made in grains. So this completely wrong. Made with, completely wrong, because nothing called made with. Undermade, also wrong. So the only one is gonna work what?
Made up of.
Okay, despite that maybe I don't know it, but I start to use logic. Made in Egypt, made in Germany, made in material, made of, yes, made of work, but made up what of? So because of that, we said that this word. Okay, thank you. Question 40, Engineer Zaina.
In heating and cooling, these grains crowd against their neighbors and tear loose from them, so that finally the rock disintegrates into sand.
Okay, so if you look here in heating and cooling, there's a modifier, but he didn't put a comma here. As I told you, there are many mistakes. These grains, there's a subject. Crowd, verb, again, it's their neighbors. And tear, there's a verb again. Lose from them. Then comma, so that there's another sentence.
So I
So
think the comma is not necessary.
yeah, the comma is not necessary because here we have only Y and Z. We don't need commas. We'll only put comma if we have X, Y, and Z. Perfect. Thank you. Marcia Ziad, 41.
Okay, so like we begin from the beginning of the sentence, so may I go up? There is a sharp and sudden fall of temperature after sunset, and the rock strongly heated by the day, and now chilled perhaps even to the freezing point.
Okay.
So
If you look at
yes,
the
we will.
choices first, because we have affect and effect. Now
Yes,
we
we
need a
will.
verb. We need a verb, is that right?
So we will eliminate B.
We'll make B and also A.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So now we have affect and are affected. You have to decide that it's passive or active here.
It's passive.
It's passive because the
The rocks.
rocks are affected by something. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. 42, Dr. Hamza.
Yes. Which choice offers the most accurate
Accurate
interpretation
interpretation.
of the data in the chart that accompanies this passage.
Okay. Yes. In ACT, we don't have graph actually. In SAT, even if the question is graph, it will not come in writing. Except in EST, sometimes we have question for graph. Look at this graph. You have to look at it. You're going to find here the concept map is the rock cycle. Just look at it quickly. The rock cycle. Here are the processes, and we know what does it mean by rock cycle because we take it in science. The igneous rock, the sedimentary, the metamorphic, and here the process, cementation, and I think this contraction, cooling, and crystallization, weathering and erosion, heat and pressure, melting. And you can find here, we have igneous rock, the magma. We have many things here. Let's return back to find which one relate to the graph. Read the first one, Dr. Hamza, in 42. Dr. Hamza.
In the cooling and
Crystallization.
Process, magma undergoes a physical process that ends in igneous rock.
Masha Ziad, may you send it to me on WhatsApp, please? Masha Ziad.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Hamza. Cooling, crystallization. Take care that cooling and crystallization was mentioned here. Cooling and crystallization. Okay, go on. You read all?
Yes.
And magma also is found, undergoes physical processes. We know that there's a physical process because the rock cycle. So it's a physical process. So maybe this right one. If you look at B, he said sediment is formed as a result of the process of weathering and erosion. I know that weathering and erosion are found here. But did we talk about sediment? We are not talking about sediment. Even it's not, it's except that it's written here, but we're talking about the rock cycle. So it's not. Heat and pressure affect only one form of rock? No. Heat and pressure affect two, not one. And they're going to find here. Heat and pressure affect two, not one. There's one here and one here. One and here two. So this is wrong. Let's look at the last one. The processes all center around the transformation of from this general one. So it's better to choose A. Clear, Dr. Hamza?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Pilot Kareem, 43.
Which choice best concludes this paragraph and transitions to the topic of the next paragraph?
Okay. He said that which choice best concludes this paragraph and transition to the topic of the next paragraph. So that means this is a paragraph. And here the next paragraph. So we know that this paragraph, we have to read the first sentence and last sentence to know the main idea. Here he said many rocks such as granite are made up of grains of earth minerals which differ in color and in their capacity to absorb heat and which therefore contract and expand in different ratio. Okay, now the last sentence must equal to the first sentence. Let's look here because this, he said, relate to here. He said in the Sahara, the thermometer has been known to fall 131 degrees Fahrenheit within a few hours. So he's talking about the time. Okay?
Yes.
So let's return back to this one. Do you feel that this relate? Read, please.
Okay, this could result in many disadvantages for future visitation.
Did we talk about vegetation plants?
No, no.
No. Let's look at B.
The soil needs to be then properly examined.
Did we talk about the soil here?
No.
Okay.
The effect on the rocks is highly substantial.
Maybe because we're talking about the rocks.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at D.
The exchange in temperature and its effect on the rocks therefore depends on the area, which is talked about in
here is better and because it talk about both the temperature and the rocks that we mentioned up. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
So therefore it's the most one that is correct.
Yes, because here only he mentioned the rocks, but here he mentioned both the temperature that come after and the rocks that come in the beginning of the sentence.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
The last question, 44, Engineer Taha. Again, we are talking about the verb. Let's look at the tenses first. As we said, is weakened is in the present passive. Weakens, present singular. Weakened, past, are weakened in the passive, but plural. May you read, please?
A desert people is weakened by long exposure to
Someone
heat
is wrong. is completely wrong. Weaken's wrong. Why? Because we're talking about pebbles, and pebbles plural. Okay? So whether it's weakened or are weakened, here past and here present in the passive. Do we need passive here? Desert pebbles by
No.
long exposure to heat?
No.
Okay, so it's gonna be weakened. Clear?
Yes.
Any question, guys, related to this one?
No, thank you.
Mr. Tamer,
Yes.
I have one question. I'm new
Yes.
to the like the Khan Academy. So what do I do?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tell you now what will happen. But not the online. Let me send this
Okay.
file first, the annotation. Keep with me, but let me
Okay.
just stop recording.